Clara Markiewicz was 4 years old when she was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia and had to spend 6 months in hospital. Now, she was cared for by this lady. This is nurse Kate Pye. She looked after Clara throughout her chemotherapy and several operations. And Kate had such an impact on the young Clara that she inspired her, she didn't know this, to move into the medical world herself.
Look at them, look at the two of them there. They are reunited 16 years later, and we're going to find out now how all of that happened, because Clara has now begun life as a student nurse, and from your point of view, Kate, you're a very, very senior nurse, OK? So,
yes.
How did it happen? When did you meet? After 16 years, who recognised who? How did you form the connection? Tell me what happened.
So I saw a feed on one of the news feeds, and it was about survivors of cancer, and that was my speciality for many years. And so when I saw that come up, I was really interested, and up popped this face, and I was like, I know that face. And then I waited till the end of the clip, and her name came up.
You know that face? When you last saw that face, it was 4.
It was 4.
Yeah, but I've got. I'm good at faces. Yeah, I remember
a long time with her.
It was a long time, and she was in the hospital for over 6 months, and she was very poorly at times. It was my first ward manager's job, and you know, when people are in hospital for that long, you make really good, you know, long-standing relationships with people, and so she was very poorly, and her mum.
That's how poorly you are. Look at you, dear, dear.
And her mum and dad were amazing throughout all of this, and so I contacted the news team and said, oh, I believe she's now training at Southampton, University of Southampton, and she's a student in our hospital, so the Southampton Children's Hospital at the General. And I said, can you give her my number? Because obviously I remembered her face, and if you look at the pictures, she does actually look, you know, you can see...
Grown-up version
the grown-up
of that
version.
Little girl,
yeah, sadly, I don't look quite
the same. Great, Kate.
And so... And then I gave them my phone number, and you can probably tell the rest of it.
Yeah, so it was my 3rd day of placement, so still quite new. And I knew Kate was in the hospital, but I hadn't really had time to seek her out. I was very excited, though, to find her. And one day, I was sitting in the staff room having my lunch. This woman walks in, and I recognise her, and it takes me a minute to realise why. And in my head, the slow connections go, you know, oh my gosh, Kate works here. Maybe it's Kate. So I was kind of awkwardly leaning across the table, trying to see her name badge, and then she saw me looking. And I was like, this is going to be really embarrassing if it's not Kate. And it was. And she looked at me, she said, oh my gosh. And I said, I think I know you. And she said, I think I know you too.
Oh, how emotional.
And just
was
across
that
the room,
really
staring at each other.
You
16 years later.
I think it's brilliant that we're talking about this, an International Nurses' Day, because being as young as you and having spent so much time, how many months were you in hospital?
6 months.
6 months, right? Yeah. 6 months. It could have one of two consequences. One is that you want to do what you do, or you think, I never want to be in a hospital again. I don't want anything to do with all of this. How did this woman have that impression on you, or that influence on you?
I think when you're a 4-year-old girl, you look up to the big girls, and you know, I was in a very unusual environment. I'd been thrown in out of, you know, completely away from my family and friends, and they became my family and friends. My mum was with me all the time, but I was really restricted with who I was with, and the nurses were there for you day in, day out, and I think they were just the people that they just took such great care, and they were just so lovely, and they just made it a home and somewhere that I could feel safe.
And why did you particularly remember Kate? Because obviously you said, you know, we're on shifts and there were various nurses.
We liked to dance, didn't we?
Yeah, we liked to dance a lot, and Kate was actually the nurse who sat with my family when the consultant gave us the news. So for my family, she was a very special nurse.
Yeah.
And in a lot of the photos, she was the face that I kind of remembered.
And I suppose, Kate, before you saw the news item about Clara, you had no idea whether she'd made it or not, really,
so the unit at the Royal London was closed in 2003, and services were reconfigured across London, and I moved away, and then Clara had her follow-up at another hospital. So actually it's really difficult because you don't quite know what happens to a lot of the children, and that's quite difficult when you've looked after them for all that time. And so it's so lovely, and all the Goldsmith nurses have been going mad on social media. They're like, it's amazing.
They will remember.
Well, let's do more for that now. Let's big up nurses today, because that's what today's all about.
Absolutely.
So there you are. You're at Southampton University, and you are at Southampton...
So the Southampton Children's Hospital, part of the General Hospital,
What's going to happen there today? When you leave
so
this
we've got
interview?
lots going on. So our I can't get into trouble for being back late because we've got awards later, and we've got presentations, and we've got Outstanding Nurse of the Year award from our Director of Nursing, and so
let me
lots of
ask you, and you know, both of you will be interested in your opinions on this. Why be a nurse? Tough job. There are easier options in life. Why be a nurse?
Yeah, we were talking about this. I think it's about making a difference, and every day you can make a small difference to people's lives. So people are very vulnerable when they're ill, and children especially, and actually if you can help people find some normality and sometimes some humour through actually something that you might never have dreamed you were ever going to go through. It's so unpredictable, nursing, and if that attracts you and that you think, actually, I could do that, then I think that's a real reason to come into it.
And what about you, Clara? You were that child in the hospital being looked after by Kate. What area do you want to specialise in now?
Well, I think I want to go into oncology, cancer care. I mean, that's always where I pictured myself, working alongside the families who are stuck in hospital for a long period of time and who have to readapt from a home life, and then they're thrown into this crazy world with terminology and people and uniforms they don't understand. And if you can be that little, especially for a child, that kind of friendly face and someone who makes it a safer environment.